Flex United stand, we have won by 1-0. I'm here with James. What's your thoughts on us today?
It's a tough game. Brighton are a good team. They've shown to be pretty competent in what they do all season. City only beat them 2-0. They seem to blow everyone away by 7 goals at the moment.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good game. Bit of a lucky goal. Tough team, Brighton to break down. You know, their central defence proved it last season. I thought a result's a result, isn't it?
They were well organised, they were well drilled. You expect that from a Chris Hughton side, but we looked like we was out of ideas very early. It took us a long while to even get a shot on goal.
Yeah, it did. I mean, Pogba's still coming back. You know, he didn't look as good this week as he did last week, but that's a matter of fitness. You know, he lasted 90 minutes, so we can take that as a massive plus. Zlatan came on, did a little bit more than what he did last time. Looked a little bit dangerous. I think our wing play wasn't quite as good. Mata didn't play anywhere near as what we know he can. Last week I thought he's one of the best players on the pitch. Today he was pretty anonymous the whole game.
Has that been our problem, that kind of inconsistency, especially with the number 10 position? That level of inconsistency, one game playing amazing, then the next the player's gone missing. Do you think that's a problem for us?
Well, Mickey's not doing it, Mata's not doing it, so yeah, we need to solve that problem. But I think the other problem is the right wing. Rashford is slowly getting used to that role, and he could be the one to fill that, but number 10 is something that it looks pretty crucial. You know, it's a Griezmann-sized hole that's missing. We get a player like that, and you know, we could be contending again. But for me, something that's really positive. I live in Brighton. I'm a season ticket holder up here. I work with a lot of Brighton fans, and so winning today was absolutely crucial. Even if it is a narrow win, I'm happy that they're not going to be too upset, but I'm happier than what they are.
I mean, today, we want to try and stay, and we call it stay in the hunt for the title. We are 8 points off, and we have to keep it at 8 points. I mean, it was more about the 3 points than the performance. We go to Watford next, then we go to Arsenal, then we got City. Those 3 games, 9 points.
Do you know what? I'm most confident about Arsenal. Watford's a tough game. I was there last season. Watford beat us good and proper last season. They're a much better team. They're a good, well-organised team this season. I think Marco Silva is probably the replacement in waiting for Jose when Jose does.
Interesting comment, that, yeah.
Move on. Really good side, but we should beat Watford. You know, there's no reason why we shouldn't beat them.
Then we go to the Emirates after that.
Easy. I mean, I'm not worried about the Emirates at all. I'm not worried about Arsenal. I think they are just rollovers. We always know how to beat them. Jose doesn't lose to Arsenal.
We lost last year to them 2-0.
Yeah, with a weaker team.
That's true.
He played the second string because
we had the Europa League. Yeah.
So that doesn't count. Before that, we got a 1-1 draw here, but that was a last-minute goal from them. We should have put them away. This year, we're a better side than them.
Year before that, we got done 3-0 as well. I think Van Gaal.
Van Gaal. Yeah.
So what I mean is, we don't travel well to the Emirates. We haven't done recently. And for me, I'm a bit worried about that game. But you know, even if we don't get the points there, by the time we play City, it could be done, couldn't it? No.
I mean, it's still the cold winter's coming in now. Yeah, City, they look phenomenal, but things can change. You know, Newcastle have looked phenomenal in the past. Loads of teams have been up at the top. Liverpool last season looked like they could be contenders. Everything changes over Christmas. By the time January the 1st comes around, that's when we'll know how it's going to shape up. We can win the league. City look the most likely to, but there's no reason why we can't be there or thereabouts. If we come away with a cup and second place this season, it's progression from last year, and that's what we've got to be looking at doing. If that's the case, we'll look at winning it next season.
I just want to get your thoughts quickly. You spoke about number 10 situation. You mentioned Griezmann. There's been a lot of talk about Ozil maybe. Who do you see as a replacement for our current number 10s? Because nobody's grasping it right now.
I can see Ozil being a player that Jose gets in. It's a free transfer. He's worked with him at Madrid. After the way he played against Spurs, you know, if he could do that every game, why not? But I do think he's a flat track bully. I don't think he's much of a player for us. I think he's too lazy overall. He's a player that I've criticised and mocked to Arsenal fans.
So is that the reason why you really don't want him here? Because you wouldn't be able to live it down because you give him so much stick?
I don't like being a hypocrite. But then, you know, if
Jose could get the best out of him, though.
If he does, and he's brilliant for us, then I'm happy to eat my words. I didn't really want Lukaku. I wanted Morata. Lukaku's proven me wrong. I think Lukaku looks like a really good player. So, you know, why not? You know, I'm happy to be proven wrong if it's for that reason. I don't like being proven wrong if I say he's going to be brilliant and then he turns out to be rubbish. So, you know, I'd much rather it that way. But give me the choice, I'll take Sanchez over Ozil.
Yeah, we do well to get him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, let's see how it goes. But we're not going to be out of it. We're going to beat Watford. We're going to beat Arsenal. City, I can see it being a draw. We'll still be 8 points behind. everything to play for still.
Very optimistic. Back to today's game lastly. Who was your man of the match?
Well, I just heard the last person you spoke to criticise Ashley Young, but I think he was man of the match. I think he was good. A lot of Brighton's attacks came from that side, but I think that's probably to do with our central defence. We need Bailly back. He's our rock. We need Rocco back in the side, but Ashley Young today was man of the match for me.
Thank you very much for talking to us, and I love your optimism.
All the best.
Cheers, thank you.
Mate.
Flex United stand, we're won by 1-0. I'm here with Kieran. What's your thoughts on today's game?
We did well. Pogba was excellent today. And yeah, it was a good result for us.
It took us a while to get our goal, didn't it? And it was a bit of a lucky one. The longer the game went on without us scoring, did you get scared we weren't going to win?
Yeah, I think that. But they done well today, and I'm really pleased with the result.
Who was your man of the match today?
Pogba, definitely. The way he played was excellent. And I reckon we can go on and win the league.
Well, we got Watford next. I mean, they're pretty good. And then we got Arsenal after that. And then we got Man City after that. What do you reckon?
I reckon we'll struggle, but we'll get there in the end.
I like your attitude, though. I think when we're...
I think if they play the right team, play Zlatan and Lukaku, all those good players, then we'll get there in the end.
You know, you mentioned Zlatan and Lukaku. Do you think they can play in the same team, or do you think it needs to be one or the other?
I reckon they could play together, but for now, I reckon they should play one, not the both together.
Rashford and Martial today, yeah, there are our speed merchants. They're the players that are exciting. Do you think they were good today?
Yeah, they were good. Martial was good, yeah.
And who's your favourite player at Man United?
I like them all.
If you have to choose one, you got to choose one player.
I think Ashley Young was a bit poor today.
Do you think he was poor today?
I think he got lucky on the goal, and I think that he didn't press in the tackles and just didn't do well.
Do you want to see him out the team? Who would you put there instead of him?
I put Blind.
Yeah.
I put Blind.
Daley Blind, you think he's better than him?
Yeah, Daley Blind, definitely.
Okay, well, listen, little man, thank you very much for talking to us. Up the Reds. Flex United stand, I'm here with Benjamin today. What did you make of us today, man?
I think it was a good game, but I think we could have got loads of goals. Yeah.
Brighton came and, you know, they put us under a bit of pressure. They made it difficult for us. Did you think we might lose that? Was you worried?
Nah, because we got De Gea in that season.
Who was your standout player today then?
Lindelof. I think he did some good tackles, and I think he could have got man of the match.
He's coming for a lot of stick, you know, first of all, early in his United career. He's still early days. Do you think he's settling down now? I think he's getting more confident?
Yeah, because like the fans are giving him more help and everything, and I think he'll do good, yeah.
Watford next, there. Then we got Arsenal. Then we got City. How do you see us doing in them 3 games?
I think we'll do all right. I think it'll be hard at Watford and it'll be hard at Arsenal as well. But I think we'll win against City.
And close that gap to win the league?
Yeah.
You be honest, right? We've got to put our side. We love the club, so we always think we're going to do well. Do you actually think, and it's not me trying to put it in your head, do you think that we're going to close the gap on City and win the league?
Yes, because City, they think like they're all good and everything. But like when we play them, we're going to show them who's
boss. Yeah. So when we play them here on the 10th, right, we're going to do them, yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll win.
Go on, Benjamin. That Benjamin. Go on, mate. Go for it.
Thanks very much for talking to us, guys.
Take care.
See you later, guys. Flex United stand, we've won by 1-0. I'm here with Niall, Jay, and Rudy. Guys, what's your thoughts on that? Let's start with you.
It was a good match, and I think we could have got more goals. We had Zlatan on as a good player, and don't know, nothing else.
What do you make of it?
I think the referee was rubbish.
He was poor, wasn't he? He wouldn't give us any fouls. There was a lot of fouls on our players, and the Brighton players were wasting time. It wasn't a very good ref, was he?
No. I think we could have got more goals. Yeah.
What do you make of it?
Definitely could have got more goals, but they could have as well. Like especially when they smashed it across. And
they were no pushovers, were they? They kept attacking us, and it wasn't until the end of the first half where we actually got a meaningful shot on the goal.
Yeah, and I think that the goal meant a lot, because if we didn't end up scoring, that would have put us even further behind in the top of the league.
We got 2 big games coming up. We got Watford, which you might not think is a big game normally, but it is this season. Then we go to Arsenal. Then we got City. We're going to win them games?
I do.
Chance.
Definitely
Yeah.
Definitely got a chance against Watford, Arsenal and City, but I'm kind of nervous about the City because of their attack currently, and yeah, I just hope we win.
What did you make of Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he came on today?
I think that it was actually a really good choice that he came on. Yeah.
Did you like Zlatan when he came on?
Yeah, I just started screaming my head off.
Do you think that him and Lukaku can play in the same team, or do you think it needs to be one or the other?
Same team, definitely, because they're both lethal strikers when they're on the good day, and if you put them together, it's just deadly. So I think they should be together. What
did you make of Martial and Rashford today?
I think they played really well. Yeah.
What did you think?
Solid wingers. They can just put any strike, goals, get through the defenders quickly.
Last question, boys. Are we gonna close the gap on City and win the league?
It really depends on injuries and things like that. Because if we lose Pogba again, I think that could be not. I think we might have fallen then. But yeah, it depends.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna win the title. We're gonna cut that gap. What do you reckon?
As a United fan, we are going to win.
You heard it there, right there. We are gonna win the title. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Flex United stand with 1-1 goal to 0 against Brighton. I'm here with Craig. Craig, what's your thoughts, man?
Piss poor. Piss poor. Trafford was quiet. I thought it was just people saying that Trafford was quiet, but I felt it today. It was, you could hear a pin drop.
It was so quiet, wasn't it? Like, how can this be the theatre of dreams? Sorry? Of course you can, mate. Wait, let him do his interview and we'll get you straight in, mate. Of course you can. How can this be the theatre of dreams? Right, we're supposedly the biggest club in the world, etc., and it's so quiet. All the away fans that come here always seem to mock us about how quiet we are.
You could hear them, and they were fantastic. You could hear them, you know, behind me. They tried to give it some, but it ain't. Like you've all got to do it together, you know. But yeah.
We are going to go and tell you. Yeah? Hello. Man United!
I think he come on last week jumping around getting drunk actually. Our performance, man. We don't come out the traps.
Even Matic, and I've never said anything bad about Matic, he looked poor. I said last week, Lindelof, I thought he played solid at the back with Smalling. Smalling was alright. A lot of people were saying Mkhitaryan, run faster, run faster. You ain't going to run faster when it's just been raining. And that ball goes twice as fast. You know, Ashley Young played all right. Lukaku, was he even on?
Do you think he had a poor game today? I mean, Zlatan came on as well, edged him out.
And I think Jose's got to start thinking I'm going to have to do it to him what I've done to Mkhitaryan.
You think it's that bad with Lukaku? You think he needs some time out?
One goal. He scored, one goal, and then what's he had, 5 games in between?
Yeah, he's gone on a bit of a barren spell before that goal last week against Newcastle.
You're going to have a fit Ibra back. You got to think maybe.
So you're saying one or the other?
Yeah, it's got to be one or the other. You don't put him as number 10 and then stick him out on the wing. Stick Lukaku on the wing. It don't work. It doesn't work. And I watched at the start. Who was it? I think it was Martial and Valencia. They just look. Not Valencia.
Ashley Young.
Ashley Young. They stuck together. You know, you don't run together. Martial should run, you know.
Martial and Rashford today, I don't know what it was. They just wouldn't take anybody on. They didn't get the fullbacks at all.
Nah, they look scared, if I'm totally honest. But I think we should try Ashley Young on the wing instead of a wing back now. You know, I watched him on my side. I was like, wow, Ashley Young has got some pretty good footwork. You know, and he did do it a couple of times, and he got the goal. I don't know if it was a deflection or.
Yeah, I think it's gone down as an own goal. Yeah.
Oh, did it? Yeah. I didn't, you know, because I couldn't see it from where I was sitting. But yeah, Matic it was poor. Pogba just does what he does, and he can only do what he can do. You know, he can play fantastic, but if the rest of the lads don't play up to the way he's playing, you got no chance. You know, you could see Lukaku. He got frustrated, really frustrated with Matic. Matic kind of held the ball up, was kind of slow with it, looking left and right, didn't want to go forward with it. We were lucky to win today, very lucky. You know, and next week against Watford, well, what was Watford's score today?
They won 3-0, mate, easy. They got their tails up. Can you see us doing well against Watford?
I'd love 3 points off of Watford, you know. I think we can come out with 6 points these next 3 games. Next three games. And I'm not saying who we're going to win, but I can just see 3.
So 6 in the next 3, so you think we're going to lose one of them?
Yeah.
City.
No comment.
Well, we have to get that far first, because if we mess up against Watford and then don't get the result against Arsenal, it's done.
Again, it's Man City. It's at Trafford. We always show up against them. They've never really gave us a thrashing the last, what? Did they give us a thrashing last year?
No. Well, we lost 2-1, but
2-1.
But for me, I think the biggest thing is before we even get to that game, because if, like I said, if we mess up against Watford, and I can't see us going to Arsenal and getting the win, we haven't won there in a while. If we mess up before then, it's over.
It's not over until till the last game of the season. You know, we've shown it. It was a 1-0 today. You know, anything can happen. That's why it's the best league in the world. Fact. It ain't just 2 leagues like the Liga. You know, it's Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham. You know, it's not over. It ain't over.
Man of the match today.
I rated him last week and I rate him again this week. Lindelof for me. That, you know.
He's settled down a bit now, hasn't
he? Yeah, and I reckon he'll start again next week. You know, because obviously we ain't got Bailly, we ain't got Jones. He played solid at the back, I thought, tonight, and he's just getting used to this, isn't he? The old Manchester weather. Yeah. He's got to get used to it. So yeah, I'm happy with 1-0, 3 points.
It was the 3 points that mattered, and not the performance.
That's all that matters. You know, it could have ended today.
Yeah.
You know, it could have ended today. But hey, you're gonna have haters and you're gonna have lovers, and I love it. So yeah.
Thanks for talking to us, Craig. Well, cheers. Flex United stand. We won by 1-0. These are my player ratings for today's game, and a very sloppy game. I'm going to start with De Gea. Luckily, considering the amount of space and time we give Brighton the ball, he didn't have a lot to do. Luckily for us, I'm going to give De Gea a 6. He didn't have a lot to do. Valencia, a few poor crosses from him. Didn't get on the ball attacking wise as much as he could have done. Defensively okay, so I'm going to give him a 6. Moving to the centre halves, Lindelof, I thought he had a very good game. I thought he was very composed, and I think he's starting to calm himself down. I think he dealt with his duels with Glenn Murray. He can be a handful. Yes, he's not going to run in behind you, Glenn Murray, but he is a bit of a unit. So he was up for that battle. He won his headers, he won his tackles, played out from the back. So I'm going to give Lindelof a 7. Chris Smalling, he looked fairly comfortable. Again, we wasn't directly troubled by Glenn Murray, but again, he is a big lump, and he had a few duels with Smalling had a few duels with Glenn Murray as well, and I think he did pretty well. So I'm going to give him a 7. Ashley Young, left back. I thought he did okay. He wasn't as good as he was against Newcastle, but you know, he was our one sort of kind of bright spark in terms of the goal came from him. So I'm going to give him a 7 because of his attacking intent, and I did see him on my side and he was screaming for the ball. He wanted us to play quicker, and I felt that frustration as well. So in a game that was quite difficult for him to get onto the ball and play his usual way, I think he did well. Into midfield, I'm going to start with Matic. I haven't had a bad word to say about Matic since he's come. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I don't think he had his best game today, if I'm honest. You guys may disagree with me, but for me, I thought he was sloppy at times. I thought he gave the ball away. Yes, he got a couple of interceptions, and he's always going to do that. But I think he's been a bit of a victim of his own success in terms of this game, because I'm used to him playing so well, and we're used to seeing him play so well. I don't think he had that same level of performance where it was like a 7 or 8, so I'm going to give him a 6 today. Paul Pogba, his 3rd game back now. I don't think he was as good as he was against Newcastle, but that's not to say he played poorly. I'm going to give Pogba a 7. He tried to influence the game, he tried to get us ticking, he tried to put balls in behind, and tried to get us going, and he will always do that. Even if we're playing poorly, Pogba will try to get on the ball and try and take some ownership and be that leader in the centre of the park. So I'm going to give him a 7 today. The front 3, if I'm honest, they let me down. Martial and Rashford, I'm going to start with them. I'll go to Rashford. I just can't help but think that he looked like Jose told him, and this is just me assuming, that just cross the ball, don't take anybody on. It wasn't him today. Towards the end of it, I don't know if he came off with an injury. He looked quite tired. He didn't look himself today, so I'm going to give him, I think it's a bit harsh to give him a 5, so I'm going to give him a 6. Martial was absolutely brilliant against Newcastle. Good in midweek, even though we lost in the Champions League. He was good then, but today again he just didn't get at his man, and I thought that he could have done a lot better. I expect to see him running at players and being excited, and he didn't do that today. Again, I think it's a bit harsh to just give him a flat 5, so I'm going to give him a 6. Mata, for me, very disappointing today. He seemed quite frustrated. He was shouting a lot, throwing his arms up a lot. He was trying to get us to press and put some pressure on Brighton when we didn't have the ball, and I felt his frustrations, but when he was on the ball, he didn't create too much, so I'm going to give him a 6. I'm not going to jump on Mata. I'm not going to say he had a dreadful game, but he didn't do too well, and there wasn't a lot of standout performance today, guys. I mean, let's face it, it was a bad performance, but we got the 3 points, which is all that matters. So yeah, one Mata, I'm going to give him a 6. Lukaku, I think we're starting to see the pattern with Lukaku, which is that he's not a player that is going to bring himself into the game and make things happen. He needs to be fed, and when we've seen it time and time again this season already, we can see the pattern. If he's not getting the service, he's not going to be in the game, and a lot of people do jump on his back and say he's not playing well and he's not putting in enough. But if he's not going to get the service, then he's not going to play well. And I was one of those fans, I'm going to be honest, at the beginning of the season, I mean, I said it at the Liverpool game, I expected him to do more. But I think, I can hold my hands up and say, the longer the season's going on, we can see that Lukaku's that guy who needs the service. If he doesn't have the service, he's not going to play well. He doesn't have those capabilities of bringing himself into the game, going and get the ball, drive at people and make things happen. He needs to be fed. So I'm going to give Lukaku a 6 today. Mkhitaryan came off the bench today after being out of the squad. If I'm honest, I didn't really see him on the ball when he came on at all. He didn't really create anything. I think, again, I don't like to give people 5s, but I think I'm going to have to give Mkhitaryan a 5. I'd put it this way, he didn't look extremely hungry when he come off the bench to try and change Jose's mind and play himself back into the team. Who else came off the bench? Obviously, Zlatan came off the bench to come back in. I thought he did all right. I thought he did well. I'm going to give Zlatan a 7. He tried to impact upon the game, and he tried to make things happen. He played a good little 1-2 with Pogba and got his shot off, and did okay. Fellaini came off the bench. I'm going to give him a 6. He tried to calm it down and get us ticking, but he wasn't on for very long. And Fellaini will always be Fellaini. He's umming and ahhing about signing a new contract at the minute, so he's not going to be in a lot of people's good books. A lot of people here saying that, if you're not going to sign Fellaini, then just leave. You're not that good of a player anyway. But for me, no. Today I think he played for a 6. Feel free to drop your comments in the boxes below, guys, and let me